Dad, I mystery shopped 100 car dealers in a room full of car dealers, and you won't believe what happened next. We're going to review the results, and I'll show you the best and the worst of what happened when I shopped 100 car dealers in a room full of car dealers.
I hope you had heavy security there. Were you wearing a bulletproof vest? Were they taking shots at you? Were they damn pleased to see you?
I don't think everyone was pleased to see me. That a couple weeks ago, I was humbled and had the privilege to keynote the first ever Auto AI Industry Summit, and I went up on stage for 45 minutes, and the first thing I did, I shopped 100 car dealerships at the beginning of the presentation and then shared the data live on screen on a dashboard as I was up there. Here's the deal, Dad. 24 hours afterwards, I paused the agent outreach, and we're going to review the stats here. The worst deal we got, I want to be very clear here, was a dealer who did not disclose any of their advertised add-ons. They advertised a 2021 Nissan Titan for sale on their website at $24,998. And while I was on stage doing the presentation, they gave us an OTD quote back, Dad, at $29,985. This includes the Murray protection package and their doc feed that they didn't disclose. Now, interestingly, the agent negotiated with this dealer and ultimately got the OTD price down to $27,188, got a nice savings there of $1,100 and got rid of that added on $1,600 protection package. But this was one of the first key insights from doing this presentation in a room full of dealers was, look, car dealers lie sometimes about the price that they advertise online.
Were any of the dealers in the room shocked? Did they come up to you after the presentation and go, shame on us? Or did most of them just look at it as, well, it's business as usual, and this is how we do things, and this is how we're going to continue to do things?
A lot of people in the room were shocked that we could capture this information in real time in an organized way. So they were surprised that, oh, wow, now we actually do have receipts for what's going on at dealerships. And a lot of people were excited about this, Dad, because they already priced their vehicles honestly, fairly, transparently, whatever you want to call it. You know, losing market share to dealers like this one, Murray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Stark, Florida, they were upset that this dealership's getting the lead because they advertised one price, but then it's not the actual price, as we proved on stage in a presentation in front of them in real time.
Were most of the dealers in favor of what it is that the FTC is trying to bring about, which is clarity in pricing, transparency in pricing? Were the majority of the dealers just saying, hey, this is it. This is how business is done. It's not going to change overnight. And whether you have an AI agent shopping us or not, it doesn't matter.
No, everyone in the room, Dad, for the most part, was really excited by the FTC's push for transparency, which got me incredibly excited because that's obviously how the industry should work. The price that's advertised online should be the actual price that you're able to get when you go to the dealership. Now, Dad, here are the high-level stats. We contacted 100 dealers. 92 actually replied within 24 hours. 62 gave us some form of pricing, and it took about an hour on average to get a response. Now, half of the responses, a little more than half, were just auto replies. 14 of the dealerships actually sent personalized videos of the vehicle that we reached out on. 29 replied, but never actually gave us a price. And 33 actually gave us the real full out-the-door price breakdown. So we asked for an OTD price from 100 dealerships, and within 24 hours, we got 33 of them. 29, Dad, got back to us, but didn't even give us the pricing, which is what we asked for.
So a third of the dealers were gracious enough to honor a request from a customer as to what information they might need or require in order to buy a car. The other 2/3 just said, well, you might ask for it. We're not prepared to give it to you. And that, to me, is, even though they might be in favor of this transparency, that shows that the vast majority of dealers are still doing it, as I would say, bass-ackwards, because they're refusing to honor the customer's request. You know, it doesn't take much to provide the customer with what they asked for, plus reasons with why, or reasons for why they should do business with you as opposed to one of their competitors. It's not that difficult.
Now, what's really interesting and got the room pretty nervous, if I'm being honest, was the fact that we then graded all the dealers we reached out to based on their responses. So Murray CDJR down there in Stark, Florida, they got a D grade. And the reason they got a D grade, and we're saying there's some caution with this dealership, is very obvious. They advertised a different price than the price they actually quoted at the dealership. Now, that being said, they did take it off when we negotiated, but you shouldn't have to negotiate to get an add-on that you didn't ask for taken off the price of a car. Now, Genesis of Annapolis, Dad, did the exact opposite. And this was what was so stark in the room, the difference between this CDJR dealership and this dealership in Maryland. Genesis of Annapolis, that they advertised this 2026 Hyundai Venue SEL at $21,999 plus their dealer processing fee of $799 on their website. This is exactly what the FTC wants to see. You know what happened when we got the out the door price quote? None of the numbers changed, man. It was exactly what they had on their website. So what did we do? We gave this dealer an A. Again, I'm on stage in front of a room full of car dealers. This is some pretty incredible stuff that I was showing them in real time.
No, absolutely it is. And the fact that at Murray CDJR, the agent was able to negotiate off the Murray protection package. That's not the point. The point is that the price is supposed to be the price, plus and the price listed is supposed to be the asking price. And if there's a processing or dock fee, that needs to be listed as well. So for a dealership like Murray would say, well, we took it off. Well, you shouldn't have put it on in the first place. That's the dilemma. That's what the FTC is trying to fight. The fact that dealers still think it's okay to advertise a price and then force feed a protection package or whatever it is and be hopeful that the customer will just fall for it.
Now, Dad, I also had in my presentation quotes from dealers who have been for years advocating for these third-party marketplaces, Carfax, CarGurus, Cars.com, AutoTrader, TrueCar, all of them to clean up their act and to ultimately take away those great deal badges that show up. When I shared that in the room, there were a lot of people nodding their heads, some people clapping. There's a lot of animosity in the auto industry right now for what happens when you see one price online versus a different price at the dealership. And it was really fun to be able to prove that out in real time. Now, all this data that we've referred to today is available online. We'll put a link to it down in the description below. But it's a pretty, I don't know, Dad, sobering reminder that buying a car is incredibly difficult in the United States, unnecessarily so in many cases. But ultimately, a lot of work goes into it for customers to get a good outcome. And honestly, a lot of work goes into it for good dealers, those who are not bad actors, who aren't doing bait and switch pricing, to stand out from their competition.
Yes, and that's the sad reality. There are more good dealers than bad dealers, but the number of bad dealers makes it seem as if all dealers are bad dealers, and they're not. And so if you're one of the good dealers and you play fair, and the price you advertise is the price that the customer can buy it for. And you have to compete against those who will show an artificially low price to attract your attention, to draw you in. And then you have to compete against that. Well, that makes it much more difficult for both the dealership and the customer. And as the second most expensive purchase people are going to make in their lifetime, it should not be this hard. This should not be the accepted way that it is for people to buy a car in this country when they're spending upwards of $50, $60, $70, $80,000 or more for new and used cars. It's crazy.
Now, a friendly reminder, we have our dealer reviews and ratings platform. It's 100% free. It shows you how a dealership is graded based on their transparency. Use that before you buy your next car. There's even a nifty map feature there, so you can zoom in on your state, break it down by brand. Please use that as part of your research process before you contact a car dealer. Dad, it was really an awesome experience to do that. I encourage everyone to go watch the full video. Obviously, we've pulled some clips into this one. I'm very proud. If you have any recommendations for me in my next Steve Jobs attempt, I'm all ears. All right. I will look to the comments for feedback.
Well, I think you did a tremendous job, and bless you for doing it. It takes a lot of courage to stand up in front of those that you're trying to reform. Just wear a sport coat and a t-shirt and no protection, like a bulletproof vest. Kevlar is very, very lightweight and very protective.